Hi everyone, it's the amazing people of Glastonbury, interview number 9, and today I have got legitimately one of the coolest people you could ever meet. Dwells in the gauntlet, and it's Ted the Viking.
Oh no, can I just stop you just for 1 second? It's not just Ted the Viking, it's Ted the Viking! Go on, sorry. That's what you mean,
Ted of Midgard Craft, who I met on one of my first trips to Glastonbury, and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah, tea buddies.
Tea buddies, yeah. But Ted actually, because, see, I know a lot about you because we've had these little chats before, but
Yeah.
just for everyone online, Ted actually is a modern day Viking. He's got Viking roots.
Minus the raping and pillaging, that's frowned upon these days. But yeah, everything else, pretty much so.
And Ted writes in runes and he creates bind runes. And I've always loved the runes. I love the story of Odin hanging from Yggdrasil. But tell us, Ted, what drew you first to the runes and to Viking mythology?
What drew me first was literally my granddad used to tell me stories about Thor, the thunder god, and stuff like that. And he had a huge influence on me. And unfortunately, he passed because of cancer. Just before he passed, he told me, like, don't worry about me, son. Whenever you hear thunder or you see lightning, know I ride with Thor. So I had then, later on in life, I had tattooed on my head, God of Thunder, not because I think I'm mightier than the gods or anything like that, or I'm a god. It's just that I've got a connection with my granddad. And that's always been there in my heart, always.
Every time you look at it, it will remind you that he's with you.
Mm.
So is that what the runes spell out?
It says God of Thunder, yeah.
So is Thor your favourite or is Odin?
There is no favourites for me. Now, here we go. I'm going to probably upset a lot of people. But when I think of the gods, and this is an individual view, when I think of the gods, I think of their metaphors as opposed to actual beings out there.
Archetypes.
Yeah. So because it was all written by men over hundreds of thousands of years and whatever, it's their teachings we're picking up from the sagas of the stories, the myths and legends of it. So they all teach us little things. There's stories about Tyr, there's stories about Thor, and the rolling seas and all these things. They're fantastic stories. And they're filled with good things and bad things. And it's like, in modern day, we have to keep one foot in the past and respect our elders, respect the past and what it had to offer back then. Bring that straight into the first footstep into the future.
Yeah.
Because never look back, because you're not going that way. Just take it with you. Put it all in a rucksack and carry it with you.
That's how you stay balanced, is you look to the past and you take the lessons and you implement them now.
Exactly right, yeah. I mean, like, in terms of, like, modern day, I can't say that I'm a true Viking because I do technology, I've got a YouTube account, I've got all these things going on. I have to be in the modern day.
But you're a
I'm
modern
mindful
day
and respectful of that. I don't travel too much, I keep my carbon footprint down. I do everything I can to keep
the old beliefs and the old ways alive.
Exactly.
But that's what makes you a modern day Viking, because you're a keeper. You're a keeper of the wisdom.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what people get when they come into Midgard Craft. They don't just get the artwork, they get a piece of me.
Because Midgard Craft is where Ted does all of his beautiful pyrography.
Well, close.
Where he where he works with wood, which is another way in which you do, like, you keep the traditions and the history alive through
again with
wood.
like the stuff that I do in my shop.
Yeah.
There is a heavy Viking influence, but there's a fantasy influence, there's a pagan influence, there's a druid influence, there's all these things. Much like the Vikings went everywhere, took pieces of culture and stories.
Yeah.
I've done exactly that in honour of the Vikings and in honour of the past. I've brought that into my artwork.
Yeah.
You can come in and say, right, can you do me a Harry Potter piece? I'll do a Harry Potter piece.
But you work with the wood, like you find, because we've spoken about this as well before, and you find pieces of wood that suit what they're going to become.
Exactly. I wake up in the
let
day.
it speak to you.
I wake up in the day and like I'll think to myself, right, I've got this image I want to do today. I'll pick up a piece of wood, like that for example. I'll pick that up and I'll go, right, today I want to do that. And then I'll look at this piece of wood and I'll see something completely different. So that image will be on hold until the right piece of wood comes along. I like to use the knots and things like this. See, this lends itself to being like quite godly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got an arm, a head, a body, and an old like Bronze Age kind of artwork kind of thing. So that might work for that, or it might work for something completely different.
Sideways is like a bird with the wings.
Yeah, exactly. So you can work with it and come up with different things along that way. Yeah.
So tell me the story of the picture above you. That's Yggdrasil, the world tree.
It is, yeah. So basically it's a mirror image of itself that connects the
As
world
above, so
and
below.
branches out to all the whole universe. This actual image is something that I thought about. You see lots of images of Odin being hanging from the tree and other stories about Odin. The one that I felt that was missing in the sagas was his journey to that day. How sad must he have been to know that he had to stab himself in his side and once he's hung himself and that. So this is his journey. This is his journey. That morning, that first light into that journey of giving yourself to yourself, dying for all that.
Full of
becoming
anticipation of what's
pain,
ahead.
Hesitation, all these things. And the raven is quite poignant as well because he has Hugin and Munin flying across the cosmos to give him information and stuff like that.
And of course he
learn
hung
all that.
He hung for 9 days from Yggdrasil.
9 days, 9 nights, yeah.
In the centre of the tree he met the 3 Norns.
That's it. Got it.
Who spoke to him, and they gave him the runes and told him it was his mission to come back.
Who's the Viking here? Correct. Exactly right. Yeah.
Come back.
So again, it all comes down to that thought process, and it is a nice image, but there's a lot of powerful things into it as well.
Yeah. Was your journey through working with the runes really powerful? Did you move through the ets at different stages of your life?
No,
it
doesn't work like that. It works more along the lines of like taking each day as it comes.
Yeah.
You know, if something good happens, then it's like, wow, that was a bit odd, but maybe the gods led me this way.
Yeah.
We make lots of mistakes along the way as in our journeys. We fall over, we have to pick ourselves up. But for guidance, we use these old ways and stuff like that to push us on forward.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened with me. Every mistake I've made, I'm no angel.
Yeah.
I've made many mistakes.
None
but
of us.
it's made me who I am. Like I said about the backpack,
Yeah.
it's full. It's a never-ending bag
Yeah.
of history about Ted the Viking.
Yeah. But your stories are so fascinating, Ted. How did you learn about the meanings of the specific runes? Was it just through your own research, or was it handed down?
Meeting people. There's a lovely man in town called Tim Raven.
Yeah.
He teaches the runes and stuff like that. I've been nurtured and I'm like a sponge.
Yeah.
You know, you throw me into a bucket of water full of knowledge and I'll soak up as much as I can from everyone's walk of life.
Yeah.
And that's what builds up that kind of energy and stuff like that. Yeah, I can sit there and can bind runes together, so I get a rune and bind it together and make a special ritual or something like that. Yeah.
So, do you have specific ones that you like to work through, or does it all just depend, like you say, it's take a day?
It all comes down to artwork, and if someone comes in the shop and they're not necessarily looking for artwork, but they want that spiritual side of me, I can pick that out intuitively.
Yeah, that's what happened when I first walked in the shop with my mum.
Exactly right, and I will, if they want to, I will write them a rune and bind something together specifically as a medicine for them.
Yeah.
Whatever it is they need on the day. I get many people in that have lost people to COVID-19. You know, I've made things to go in people's coffins, and I've used ashes incorporated into the woodwork, and I've done so many what considered
beautiful
as dark
projects.
things, but it's not, because it brings them joy, makes
and
them
peace
upset,
and comfort.
and happiness. Yeah, exactly.
That's really lovely.
Well, I try my best. I'm like, it's not just an art shop.
No,
There's an energy here that goes beyond that.
but that's what Glastonbury's all about.
That is exactly what Glastonbury is all about.
How long have you been living in Glastonbury
I've
for?
only been here 3 years. I came here from nothing. I didn't have an idea on what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I was
But-
just here. Yeah, go on, sorry.
No, sorry, I hope I'm not interrupting too much, but the path reveals itself to you.
It does.
doesn't
I
it?
mean, should I talk about that quickly?
Yes.
I was up on the tour. I was whittling away some wands, and I didn't know what to do with them because I hadn't had another trade. I don't know any other way. Someone tapped me on the shoulder and said, "I love that. Can I buy it off of you?" And I said, "No, shut up. Here, take it."
Yeah.
Well, it's very kind of you, but I think you should do it. Make some, distribute them in town. This is how I got to know people in town, especially in the shops,
Yeah.
because I was letting people buy my wands and stuff like that in the markets and stuff. And I couldn't keep up with demand, so I ended up on a market stall. Things grew there. Someone said, "Can you do a design on something for me?" I'd never done it before. Tried it. It worked. All this artwork and everything you see around you has been cultured over the last 3 years from absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Through the imagination and the spark of Glastonbury. So I remember driving into Glastonbury, and the first thing I saw wasn't the tour. What do they call it?
St. Michael's
St. Michael's.
Tower. Yeah.
It was the shape of the tour. It goes up and lays down like that.
The sleeping dragon.
Sleeping dragon, exactly. So dragons was the first thing that I started to do. And then once I started doing that, people wanted altars and all kinds of stuff. And it just grew and grew.
And every day is something fun and exciting because
Yeah, right
different
now I'm
clients
doing
ask
a
different
little
things.
commission. It's very early on. I've still got a lot of detail to do. But someone wants a train done. Someone that loves trains. And they said, "Is there any chance you could do it?" I just want... It's the numbers that mean the most to them on trains. I'll burn this up and I'll blend it in and all kinds of stuff like that. So, you know, commissions, all this kind of stuff is all welcome. I'll do it all.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Because it's such a unique way to have art. I mean, look at those dragons. Ted does the most
Well,
amazing
this one I've done
dragon.
this morning, finished this morning. 3 days.
The guardian of the tour.
The Protector.
The protector. Oh wow, I love that.
Yep.
And I really love, is that Odin looking out over the world? Of
That is
course it
Odin.
is. And
is
then
Odin.
you've got the green man as well, so it's a
Got the
mix
green
of
man.
all the different cultures.
Yeah, but they all blend. In the end, it all blends because we're supposed to be good to each other, kind to each other, respect the universe, respect our environment.
Yeah,
All
course.
every religion and culture actually teaches those things. We just have to bring it together and become one. We're all the same blood. We come together.
and it comes back as well because it's what you give out gets reflected back to you.
I
as
give
you
I give
so you
plenty
receive.
out.
Yeah, I know
Always
you
do.
do.
Yeah.
I know. But Ted, over the past 3 years that you've been in Glastonbury, if you look at Glastonbury as a mystery school, what have been like the biggest lessons that you've learned? Like, what have been the biggest things that Glastonbury's shown you about life?
Biggest lessons that Glastonbury has shown me is that there are better people out there. Coming from London, which is where I'm from originally, everyone segregated themselves. But when I first moved here, I couldn't understand why people would just walk up to me and give me a hug. It's a bit dark now because we have this COVID-19, it's not a bit frowned upon, but being open, walking past someone, smiling, saying good morning to someone, taking in someone else's rubbish, all these tiny little things was shock to me. I didn't understand it. But I've opened it up, I've broke that wall down, and I've let people, and I've embraced it, and I've let people in. Because that's what Glastonbury does.
Opens up your heart.
It does, and a lot of countryside does that as well, because it's greenery, your mood changes, it allows you to breathe. Yeah?
Yeah. Just seeing all the trees and the green pasture, it does, because that's the colour of the heart chakra. It does sort of,
Yeah, indeed.
it sort of goes, you can relax now,
Yeah.
and you
And I
start
feel
to
alive
breathe
when it's
deeper.
cold. Summer's lovely here, don't get me wrong, but the winters, I think the winters are better.
Yeah.
Because the cold snap, it makes you feel alive. You know?
And those misty mornings.
Mystic, typical, the mists of Avalon. It's great stuff. It's great. There's mystic. There's imagination. It spawns all kinds of imagination.
Yeah.
I remember when I was up on the tour one misty morning, and the tour just popped out over the mist when I was at the top of the tour,
Yeah.
and I felt that I could just fall into the cloud, and that
It's
was beautiful.
amazing.
Yeah, absolutely stunning, really was.
And there's these mornings, I'm sure you've had them too, where you walk up the mount and the tor, which is visible from so far away usually, like you just can't see it.
No, it
It's
disappears. Yeah.
shrouded in mist until you get about 5 steps away from the actual tower. Yeah,
It takes
it's
it away.
incredible, but it's a lesson that like even when you can't see things, they're always there. Like it's there.
Yeah.
It's a huge lesson in like faith.
Yeah, it is. It is, definitely.
Okay, so Ted, last question. If you could speak on behalf of all of Glastonbury and share a message with the rest of the world, anyone watching this, right from the heart of Babylon, what would your message
My
be?
message would be to take this away with you, right? You might have that satchel of the past walking into the future. The one thing you should do is not walk past anyone and not care about anyone's well-being, because everyone has something to offer. Open up a little bit, just smile to someone, let them have a piece of you if they wish. That's important, because we segregate each other too much in this world. Become one.
We're all connected and we're all one.
Mm.
That was so beautifully said.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Ted. And is there anything that I haven't asked you or mentioned that
Do you want me
like
to play a
say?
little bit of this?
Yes, please.
So this is a Kravik lyre, a typical Viking harp. I'll play a little bit. There are other people that play these better than me, obviously, but...
Brilliant. Thank you so
You're
much.
very
Ted.
welcome. You're very welcome.